We started the Arabic program right from the beginning of the course. In fact, our whole Sacred Texts Syllabus was based originally or began as an Arabic course, and then we built the other years after that. The reason for that was we feel that to do the more advanced sciences, Arabic is a necessary component of that. And I was teaching Arabic prior to that anyway, so I had quite a bit of experience teaching Arabic and other subjects, but it was a great focus on Arabic. My studies and also were heavily kind of anchored in the Arabic language. And just a bit of background to Arabic Accelerated, we have different types of Arabic courses out there. So you can take, for instance, Arabic courses that are 8 weeks, 16 weeks, level 1, level 2, level 3, that are more language focused. So books like Al-Arabiya Bayna Yadayk, very language focused, not very grammar heavy, which is good, and they aid for conversational Arabic especially. But the problem with them is, I felt anyway, there wasn't enough anchoring. I felt there was maybe a lack of grammar, or they gave you a bit of everything, but didn't give you enough for reading, I felt, and writing. And plus, most of those courses, they come in stages, a 16-week, another 16-week, and then level 3, and there's not much after that. Then you have the kind of Medina books syllabus, which I quite liked actually. It was a good syllabus, but again, I felt it's very similar to the first one, and I did feel it was not intense enough at the beginning. We then put a syllabus together, which we had been using for a long time, which was initially based on elements of the Dars Nizami syllabus. And in the Dars Nizami syllabus, what you tend to have is you study Sarf separately, you study Nahu separately, and then you bring the two together by reading a single text or reading stories, etc. Parts of that are brilliant, where you have a grounding in Sarf, in morphology, understanding verbs, good grounding in Nahu. One of the big problems with that syllabus or that method is that you really suffer in terms of language. Your vocabulary is quite weak. So we took some elements of that, which were the grammar elements. We kept those, we refined those, and then we tried to bring those two together through stories and have a rich kind of vocabulary element to it.
And in terms of, I found that you always do find students at two extremes of the spectrum. You find students that are keen on instant gratification in terms of the language aspect of it. They want to start speaking as soon as possible. And so you kind of touched on how that might lead to deficiencies in terms of reading and writing. But how far can you actually go without studying grammar and being able to speak and understand the language?
See, originally our intention was not to train students in conversational Arabic. Our sole intention at the beginning, when we developed the course, was for them to continue on to sacred texts, access to classical books in fiqh, aqidah, etc. So we didn't really give much attention to conversational Arabic, but as years went along and as we progressed, we realized that conversational Arabic is quite important. Listening is important, audio, writing is important. So we began to factor those elements in, and currently we're in a process of again updating slightly our syllabus, and we've added even more to that syllabus. We've added some audio elements now, which are launching in September. We feel that audio is especially important in studying Arabic. We really want to focus an element on conversational Arabic as well. So now currently the way we've developed and what we've done, what's unique is every year we realized, okay, we could improve here. This is a good idea, that's a good idea. And we've come to now, probably 6 years in, a really rounded syllabus for the Arabic.
And I can see that in the students that have done the program most recently, where they're able to quite speak the language quite well, understand it, and also read and write quite fluently. So I had a question about regarding students that haven't studied any Arabic before, because they're going to look at this Arabic Accelerated program and think, all right, is this for me? Is it for someone that has no prior exposure to the language before, or are they expected to be able to read the language? I mean, how far would you expect a student?
Well, minimally, they should be able to read Arabic letters and words.
Right.
So if you've been, converts may struggle if they haven't had any interaction with the language at all, in that they don't know the Arabic alphabet. But most Muslims, and generally we have Muslims on the course, although I love for non-Muslims to apply as well, they have a background in reading Arabic, they can read the Quran. That's sufficient. Our course is slightly different in that it's called Accelerated for a reason.
Right.
It takes you from level 1 to level 2 pretty quickly. So that's one of the scary elements of the course. However, if you ride that wave, it becomes easier. What we try to do, because it's once a week and it's 5 hours, it's quite challenging because you do have to put in 5-6 hours at home as well, a week outside of the class. The first 2 or 3 months are quite difficult, but once you get the hang of it, the students begin to love the course. By December, they're quite well versed in the main grammar concepts and 22 concepts that we have. So you don't really need anything to enroll onto the course, but you need a good work ethic, really good work ethic. That's what you need.
So touching on that work ethic, so someone that hasn't done any Arabic before, but they can read the Quran, for example, they're perfectly equipped to study the course. But if someone comes into the course with a lot of commitments outside work, I mean, how can they cope with this course and a full-time work study commitment outside?
Well, most of our students are in full-time work or in full-time education. Most of them, or housewives that have children to look after, and probably have a job on the side as well. We haven't found that to be difficult. Dedication is important, and really sticking to it, consistency. We really haven't had a problem. Yeah, there are some people that it's overwhelming for them. You're always going to get people that have a family issue that arises where they can't continue the course. Like I said, 5 hours of contact time, up to 6 hours, I think, at home, which is, they spend 40 odd minutes to an hour a day. They'll be perfectly fine. At the beginning, there's a workload with the homework, but it decreases as they go along, especially by December time, from September. By December time, their workload has decreased quite a bit.
Is there a good support system outside of the classroom environment to help one to get above and beyond that?
Yeah, but I mean, we have a lot of students. Students help each other. We have a WhatsApp group for the students. They can contact the teachers as well. We have tutorial videos for the grammar that they can look at. The classes are recorded. They have access to the recordings. Online students who log on also have a couple of days later, they have access to the recordings. So, I mean, we have a student environment. They can discuss pretty much anything they're stuck on with advanced students.
This is a difficult question to answer in such a short space of time, but why learn Arabic?
To understand the Book of Allah. I mean, you can never really appreciate the Word of God, feel the Word of God. You can understand what God may be saying, but you can never feel it and really connect with the Word of God, except through the language that He chose for His divine speech to be revealed in. And I think without Arabic, that soul in the prayer, in understanding God, is often lost.